Good morning, everybody. It is an early Wednesday morning here, and I've got the 843 Bobcat loaded on the 30-footer, and I'm headed to go pick up another Bobcat, an E50 mini excavator, and got a pretty big job to go tackle. I will fill you fellas in on what that job is later. Right now, got to get on the move, got to get this thing picked up, got to get out to where the job site is. I got to meet guys there, so I can't slow down. I got to hustle and make it happen. So I will see you there at the E50.
The rental company gave me my choice between an E35 and an E50, and I'm pretty glad that I went with the E50 because it wasn't that much more expensive. And I found out later that the extra weight of the E50 was definitely appreciated trying to pull on trees. And it's still pretty small, at least in my opinion. The E50 is still a pretty small machine. Wish it had a cab, but that's okay. I'll take what I can get. Probably my favorite part about this excavator is how far 10 gallons of fuel goes in these little tiny puppies with only, 49 horsepower or whatever. A little bit of fuel, and they run all day long on just a few gallons of fuel.
Alright, got the Mini X all loaded up. C50 is not a bad machine. It is a Bobcat, but I don't think it's a bad machine. I've rented one before. This is the second time, and it's alright. So, got out of there, yeah. And, someone asked me, they said, what's the heaviest weight you've ever had on that 30-footer, the trailer that I built? And I think I said 17,000, but I think that was actually incorrect. I forgot about one time I hauled the Bobcat, skid steer, an orchard tractor, and I've done that combo a couple of times, but then one time I had the flail mower. So it was probably more like 18.5 even. And so, but I think this might be the heaviest, or at least right there, that I've ever had on this trailer, because this X is 12,000 pounds and the Bobcat is about 6,400, right in there. So we're 18.4. So I'm pushing, I know that I'll have 20,000 pounds right now. I got 20,000 pounds on the tandem duals, because the other video, if you scroll back, pushing the limits of a cabin chassis 3500, when I weighed it, I had 19,000, and that was an orchard tractor and the same skid steer. So, and this thing is another 1,500 pounds heavier than the orchard tractor. So I'm maxed out. This is it for this trailer. So moving here, got to get out to the job site and get started on this project that's gonna suck. Well, there's my 580 Super L, case 580. I will not be using that today, unfortunately, because I ain't got no thumb. That's the big thing, is no thumb on a backhoe. I got to be able to grab onto trees and rip them out of the ground with the thumb. So I got to get this excavator unloaded, and we'll go see how this thing works.
So I get going on it, and I'm having a kind of a tough time, and I'm thinking, man, yeah, it's been a couple of years since I've ran an excavator, but it was this same exact machine, and I mean, I don't remember myself being, half bad at it. I mean, not like good, like blippy good.
I'm a nerd separator, I'm an excavator.
But better than this. And then I realized what the problem was, is the machine was on John Deere controls, and I do not get along with John Deere controls. I got to do Case Cat controls. So got that switched over, and started to punch out trees at that point. And after 20 or 30 trees or so, I was getting the hang of it and blowing the rust off. So here's what's up with what this actual job is. Winter just a little too hard this year. Epic historical rainfall in the state of California, and almonds don't fare well in heavy saturation, soil saturation, especially in the type of soils. If you're in sandy soil, you can get away with a lot. If you're in the heavier adobes that we farm in, well, sometimes you can get in trouble with too much water. So that's what's happened this year. We've got about 10% of our trees have unfortunately died, and it is what it is. They're going to have to come out and be replanted. And even though this was one single winter, this will affect us for a 4 to 5 year time period as we're taking out trees that were fully grown and producing and replacing them with a baby tree that will, like I say, take about 4 to 5 years to get back to the same size as the ones that are being torn out, unfortunately. Two things here before I close out this video, but first being of why this has happened, why so many trees have unfortunately died, and the second thing is I'd like to actually talk about this excavator. So the reason why there's so many dead trees is Almonds have an issue with a bacterial infection called Phytophthora. It lives in the ground. It's in water. It's in all kinds of things. And it thrives in very, very soggy conditions, and it goes after the roots. And so this is a disease that basically infects the roots during a prolonged period of saturation in the ground, and just eats away at the roots and kind of just cuts the tree off at its knees essentially. And it leaves the tree not being able to uptake proper nutrients and water to stay alive. So we really see it when we get some of the first warm days in the springtime. And with winters that are like this, I mean, this is a record-setting winter, so that's the reason why we've had so many fatalities. But I've got approximately 1,150 trees that are dead in some of the low portions of my orchards that are scattered throughout my area. But in total, I've got about 28,000 trees amongst those orchards. So 1,150, it could have been worse, could have been better, but I guess I'll take it if I have to. So this is a pretty big job. This is obviously, this is later in the afternoon. I'm getting up there close to 150, 160 trees. I was getting the swing of things pretty good with the excavator along about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'm hoping the next day that I rent this machine that I can pick up the pace and maybe get well over 200. So on this excavator, this E50 Bobcat, it's not a bad machine. I've got a little bit of experience on it. I've rented it one day before, back when installing some irrigation system stuff. But anyway, not a bad machine. I guess I don't really have a whole lot of complaints. I would prefer to have a cab. But I think actually, rather than going back to Herc and getting this same machine, I think I'm going to try to rent a JCB Mini X from the local dealer that I'm getting my Teleskid from. I'd like to give the JCB a try, and JCBs come standard with a cab, if my understanding is correct. So you'll probably see that here in the near future as a video on the JCB Mini X. I'd love to own my own excavator, but I just don't think I have enough work to justify owning one, especially when I have a backhoe, and the backhoe is handy to be able to move fast down the road and that sort of thing. And outside of that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Appreciate all the new subscribers, appreciate all the subscribers that have been with me since the beginning. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe and like button. Hey, we'll see you on the next one. Later.
Well, that's a start. 160 trees down, 500 to go. But all in a day's work, one day at a time.